Coming up on Animal Cops Philadelphia.
We're still fighting the losing battle. We're kind of hoping and praying for this dog right now.
Somebody's stashing him back here. Not anymore.
I need some water out here. It's too hot.
The conditions are absolutely horrendous. There's trash, debris. Wow. It's a mess. It's really a mess.
Philadelphia, the birthplace of America, and home to the Pennsylvania SPCA, where every day a new drama unfolds. Two animals are being brought into the shelter from Philadelphia's Animal Care and Control. The dog and cat were handed in by their owner. Both are in terrible condition. Officer Wayne Smith from the SPCA's Humane Law Enforcement Team has been called in to witness the animal's condition. They suspect the animals are the victims of cruelty.
The dog and cat was taken to Packer, surrendered to Packer.
The dog, named Molly, is desperately ill. Her back end is covered in feces and smells putrid.
Just the smell is real bad. It smells like rotten flesh.
Before they can treat her, Dr. Ravi Mararka gently examines her to get a diagnosis.
How long do it take for a dog to get like this, though?
It looked like this dog has been not provided any medical care for years.
All right.
This dog has been not provided any food and water. Probably may not even able to eat. I mean, she's so sick. I mean, she is severely dehydrated.
Mararka suspects Molly has an infected uterus called a pyometra, a common infliction in older unspayed female dogs that is potentially fatal.
In this condition, if I'm not gonna do the surgery, this dog gonna die. So we had to operate this dog right away. It's okay, I can carry this small dog.
Molly's only chance of survival is to have immediate surgery to remove her infected uterus. But before he operates, Mararka carries her to be cleaned to prevent the risk of further infection. Groomer B.J. Taylor helps to gently wash off the blood and feces clinging to Molly's coat. Molly's temperature is dangerously low, over 10 degrees below average. As they start to prepare her for surgery, they place her on a heating pad to try to get her temperature up as quickly as possible. But they don't have much time. While the team continues to work on Molly, Mararka quickly turns his attention to the cat and makes a horrific discovery. The cat has a gaping hole in its neck and is barely conscious.
I don't know how I can handle two emergencies at one time.
The faint pulse tells Mararka the cat is still alive.
This cat is very severely dehydrated, comatose. I thought I'm gonna do the dog first and then I'm gonna look at the cat, but it looked like a cat also have emergency.
There's a lot of people turning these dogs into animal control, and sometimes when they turn the dogs in, you need to find out if they have more dogs at the residence and if they're going through the same thing. So that's why pretty much where my job kicks in there. I'll go out there, see if she has any other animals, and see the conditions of the home, and pretty much interview and find out what's going on there.
The owner gave her address to Animal Care and Control. Smith heads out to her home in North Philadelphia to see what he can find out.
Seeing what people can actually do to these animals and not feel bad about it, or the lack of education that's out there. when it comes to actually taking care of your animals. That always surprises me.
At the property, no one is home, but Smith can hear something inside the house.
You can hear a lot of dogs in there, a whole lot of dogs. You hear like the dogs that's closest to the door, you can hear them now. But when you lean in, you can hear other dogs in the background. It's like a lot of them, though. So since no one didn't answer, they don't really know that we're coming, so what we're going to do is get a search warrant for the property.
Smith knows there is no time to lose. The dogs inside the house may need urgent help. Back at the shelter, the cat has regained consciousness. He has been given an antibiotic injection and placed on a drip to help rehydrate him. His neck has been wrapped in an antiseptic bandage to help clear the infection around the gaping hole. But things aren't going so well next door in surgery. Molly's heart rate is dangerously low. Veterinary technician Angela Messer is worried.
We're still fighting a losing battle right now. Dog's heart rate usually under anesthesia is between, I'd say about 60 to 80, about 60 to 80 beats per minute. Our dog's heart rate is down to about 40 beats per minute right now. So we are concerned, but our biggest concern is finding out what's going on, what's causing the bleeding. It definitely improves her chances of survival.
Well, this is the uterus full with the pus, so my assumption was that it has a pyometra. It's quite right.
Moraka works quickly to remove the infected uterus.
I did this surgery right away because I was not sure this dog gonna, and even now I'm not sure this dog gonna make it through, but I'm taking my chances. If I could have been not operated this dog could have been dead anyway. So I'm taking my chances by operating this dog.
This was absolutely unnecessary for this dog. If someone would have just taken, the time to have their dog spayed or just realize that there was a problem, this isn't something that happened overnight. It's something that took a while to build up and all this pus to build up. And this dog's in really bad shape. Listen, its heartbeat is very slow. We're doing our best to monitor it, but we're kind of hoping and praying for this dog right now.
After an hour of surgery, the uterus has been removed. Moraka has done all he can.
Let's get the heating pad ready for the dog.
Molly has survived the operation, but the next 48 hours will be critical. While the medical team continues to monitor Molly and the cat, Smith is completing the paperwork he needs for a search warrant that will allow him to enter Molly's owner's home. Only then will he discover how many animals are still at the property in need of his help. At the Pennsylvania SPCA shelter, Humane Law Enforcement Officer Betty Sorrell receives a report from dispatch of 2 puppies abandoned in a yard. Accompanied by Officer Ashley Much, she heads to the property in North Philadelphia. It's broad daylight, but Sorrell and Much know they have to be vigilant. They're in a rough part of the city where law enforcers aren't always welcome. As they arrive, a neighbor helps direct them to the property.
Get through that yard over here now. So the house is actually abandoned. It's like a jungle.
In a corner of the dirty and derelict yard is a covered crate.
There's 2.
Inside the crate, they find 2 young pit bulls. The dogs have no food or water.
Somebody's stashing them back here. Not anymore.
It's already warm, but with temperatures predicted to rise into the 90s, the dogs could quickly overheat under the thick black cloth.
They're bad.
You know these dogs?
Yeah.
What are they doing back here?
A young man approaches. He claims to know who the dogs belong to, but as Sorrel questions him, he makes a quick exit. Sorrel's instincts tell her they may be in a dangerous situation.
You might want to call the police.
She calls her boss, George Bingle, for advice.
Dog's in a cage behind an abandoned house. The cage is locked, and you got a dude out here saying he knows the dogs. He's trying to get the dog's owner down.
The dogs are clearly being mistreated. Bingle tells Sorrel to get them back to the shelter and get out of the area right away. Neighbor Henry Wilson is glad to see the dogs being rescued.
I know they saying thank you too. It's just cruelty to animals. It doesn't make any sense. You know, in other words, it's like a thing. You learn how to treat animals, you learn how to treat human beings. You know, and that's not right to put them in there. And not have no water or nothing, and just leave them like that. They've been out here for a couple of days.
With 2 hidden pit bulls, Sorrel is suspicious she may have stumbled upon a dog fighting setup.
Taking them up and taking them out right now. I don't want to wait for the owner to get down here, because God only knows what he's doing.
Worried someone may turn up and try to claim the dogs, Sorrel works quickly.
We're getting back to the shelter and getting the heck out of here before anybody shows up. That's a prime example of a case where I'm very glad I didn't roll out there alone, because in that back alley, when you've got a group of young men forming and it's just me, that's a very dangerous position for me to be in. I mean, luckily Ashley was here to help, because who knows, the owners come by and then I got a world of trouble on my hands.
But you're right. They stash them in there with just a rug over it.
Forget about with a rug over it. It's gonna be 90 degrees tomorrow. Come on now. These dogs probably would have died in there.
Luckily for Sorrel and Much, they've managed to get the job done without a confrontation. And crucially, the 2 young dogs are now also out of danger. Back at the shelter, humane law enforcement officer Wayne Smith is heading back to a property in North Philadelphia to serve a search warrant.
Gotta get my gloves, my lucky gloves. I usually don't get bit when I wear my lucky gloves.
After Molly the dog and a cat were brought to the shelter in a desperate state, Smith's investigations have uncovered a house with multiple animals in possible need of help.
Those animals that was brought in that was in very bad condition, I went and typed the warrant up and got it signed. Now I'm going to go serve it now and get those animals out of there before it get dark. Pretty much got confirmation from the cops that they're gonna meet us over there.
As well as the police, Smith's boss, Director of Law Enforcement George Bingle, and his team of officers arrive at the scene to help Smith. No one is home. Then, the owner appears.
Where you at, ma'am? You got a search warrant, ma'am.
For what?
For your animals.
For what?
We're here to remove your animals.
For what?
The unsanitary conditions. Could you open the door?
They ain't none.
Could you open the door, ma'am? Come on, let's go. How many animals do you have, ma'am? Those animals that you turned in, they're in very bad condition.
The owner doesn't want to give up her pets. While Smith talks to her, Bingle takes a look inside the house. It confirms what they already suspected.
The conditions are absolutely horrendous. There's trash, debris from ceiling to floor. You can't even hardly walk in this house. There's so much trash. There's all kinds of animal cages, bird cages, dog cages, cat cages. This house is really unfit for a human to live in, let alone an animal. It's beyond belief.
Finally, the owner agrees to cooperate.
She's willing to surrender the animals, so we're going to just start pulling the animals out now.
You take a look at this.
Pennsylvania SPCA vet Dr. Ravi Maraka has been brought to the location to assess the animals. Officer Leonard Knox has managed to take a close look at some of the cats.
Most of the cats look like she was feeding them, but it's just the living conditions, and the living conditions are bad. Got a carpet, but it's no longer what I would consider a carpet, and that's not good. She shouldn't even be living in there like that.
There are 10 cats and 5 dogs on the property, 3 more than the owner is permitted under city ordinances, and clearly more than she can cope with.
This was a photo of the dog that was turned in earlier this morning to PACA, and she's got it written on the top, last picture, and the dog's name and the dog's age, but you can see the conditions. The cage is totally full of feces, and we saw the condition of this dog when it came into the shelter. It's just terrible condition, and she's got other animals, and they'll look just like this, other dogs.
As they bring out the dogs, a crowd is gathered on the street. The neighbors are intrigued to see what's causing so much attention. The dogs are being kept in cages, stacked one on top of the other, with urine and feces dripping onto the animal below. The unsanitary conditions could lead to a host of eye problems and skin conditions.
It's shocking. There's a litter everywhere, dog poop piled up on a carpet, and it's no wonder when we saw the animals today at our shelter, they were in that bad shape.
Under Pennsylvania law, the homeowner is liable for each of the animals in the house, as well as for Molly and the cat she handed in earlier.
I'm writing citations. She really don't have the money to pay for anything like that. And to cite her for 17 animals, to write 17 citations is almost ridiculous. So I'm just gonna put all the animals on one citation, all the cats on one citation, all the dogs on another citation. And then we'll go to court. She'll go, at least we can probably stop her from getting animals for at least 2 years. You know what I mean? At least she can, and within that time, with a court order, maybe she can get her house cleaned out. So.
Despite the terrible conditions, the officers are convinced the owner's intentions were good. But with so many pets, she had simply become overwhelmed.
I just wish I could take her out of there too. It's a mess. It's really a mess.
After 3 hours, all the animals are loaded up, and the officers prepare to head back to the SPCA headquarters, where the pets can receive urgent medical care. It's 10 o'clock at night in North Philadelphia. The Pennsylvania SPCA's Humane Law Enforcement team are returning to base after a large rescue operation at a hoarder's home. Members of staff have stayed late to help unload the 15 cats and dogs.
All right, guys. Hey, kitty. You scared? Don't be scared.
We have one in there. Let's see what we have.
All right, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Inside the shelter, the medical team is preparing to evaluate each of the animals. The dogs seem to be in good weight. They need to be assessed for medical problems as well as a lack of socialization.
No showing teeth.
Dr. Ravi Mararka sets to work examining the dogs one by one with the help of veterinary technician Balbino Palazzo.
So on the dorsal side.
The unsanitary conditions in which the animals were being kept may have led to a range of problems, including conjunctivitis, parasites, and mange.
This dog, this matted hair, it must be that indicate that this owner was not taking care of this dog for a long time. These nails are overgrown. I have a tartar on the teeth.
It's clear the animals haven't been properly cared for and will need close medical attention. But as well as having concern for the pets, Smith has also been touched by the owner's plight.
When I go into these homes and I see elderly people, and they pretty much in there by themselves, and these animals are their only family, it hurts me to take them from them. I really don't want to take them from them because I know, like I kept saying to them, I know these are your babies. I know these are your babies. And I think once she seen that I understand what the animals meant to her, she started calming down some, and she really started talking to me. So, but it hurts me to take them from them because that's all they have. And the animals love them unconditionally. She can drink 100 bottles of liquor and the cats will still walk up and kiss her. Or she can, just be house just full of trash. The animals still love her. So it's hard. It's real hard. It's heartbreaking because you want to help. You want to help, but it's just hard.
By 1 o'clock in the morning, there's one dog left to treat. The young Chihuahua mix has a bad case of fleas.
If one dog is infested with the fleas, unfortunately, all the animals, including the cats, are infested.
Fleas, man, them fleas having a party on him.
With over 500 other animals in the shelter to protect, the dogs and cats will have to be vaccinated and kept in isolation until the treatments take effect. With 6 more cats to evaluate, it's going to be a long night. The next morning, the shelter staff is still busy grooming the 15 animals that arrived during the night. Years of neglect have left many of the dogs' coats heavily matted and full of accumulated feces and flea dirt. A few of the animals also require medical treatment due to a lack of veterinary care. And the morning has also brought with it some sad news. Despite efforts to save her, Molly passed away during the night. But the staff has witnessed one miracle. The cat with the hole in its neck is awake and alert and even has an appetite.
Can you believe this cat? Unbelievable. Right now with the giving antibiotic fluids, cat is within 2 hours is able to eat. I mean, I'm surprised. I mean, these creatures, they have so much debilitated and still try to survive. I mean, this is basically survival. It's a good sign. I'm amazed. I'm amazed.
While the work continues inside, outside, the heat is rising.
Good morning, Philadelphia. We've got one heck of a day ahead of us. Temperatures getting near 90, and of course, this humidity.
For many, summer sunshine can make for a perfect day. But as temperatures soar, the heat can also become a danger. In West Philadelphia, Director of Law Enforcement George Bengal, Officer Darlene Souza, and Agent Juan Martinez have received a report claiming a dog is dying in a backyard due to a heat wave that has hit the city.
Hold it. Let me tell my sister this. Okay.
While they wait for the owner, Bengal investigates the yard at the back of the house. He spots a doghouse, but large weeds are obstructing the entrance. There's nowhere to shelter from the blistering midday sun.
It's all weeds.
The dog, named Brownie, has snuck down an alley at the side of the house where Souza can see him.
Right here. Looks pretty good.
Yeah, but you see the backyard, it's all covered in weeds and everything. The dog has no place to go.
About the weeds and stuff.
Can you call him up here?
Come on, Brown. Yeah. Come on, Brownie.
He is in better shape than the report stated, but the officers can see that he is panting, an early sign of heat stroke. Bengal is worried.
I'm not real thrilled with the way the dog is kept. I want to get in this backyard and take a look at this. The dog don't look too bad. It's not in too bad a condition, but I'll tell you, the conditions of the yard are not good at all.
Especially it's so hot, we just got to make sure he's got water and stuff in the shelter.
The owner has told Bengal she doesn't allow Brownie inside her house. In the backyard, they discover that despite the heat, the dog has no water. Unlike humans, dogs only have sweat glands on their paws and regulate their body temperature through panting.
I need some water out here. It's too hot.
Bengal knows that heat stroke strikes quickly. Without water and shade, Brownie will become dangerously dehydrated in just a few hours.
We gotta talk, okay?
You can't keep a dog out here like this in these kind of conditions. It's illegal. So you tell me what you want to do. If you want to turn this dog over and surrender this dog, because you're obviously...
Rather than surrender the dog, Brownie's owner wants her brother to have him, but he lives over 200 miles away. With the heat rising, Bengal doesn't want to leave the dog in the backyard a moment longer.
If your brother is coming up within a reasonable amount of time, okay, and he wants to take it back to Virginia, okay, I might consider doing that. He can come to the shelter and pick it up.
To the shelter?
Yeah, that's where we're going to take the dog. I want you to do the right thing for the dog.
Okay.
So, you want to do the right thing? You tell me what you want to do.
I'll do what I have to do.
Okay, all right, okay. Let's see if we can get a truck at her.
The owner eventually agrees to sign Brownie over, so the officers can get him back to the shelter to be examined.
For us to leave it here and depend on her to call the brother to come up, I mean, this dog may lay here for weeks, and then we're going to be back here again. And, you know, we're looking now at 5 days of over 90-degree weather. So, you know, I don't see the conditions changing back there anytime soon.
We're putting this stick on him just for safety reasons.
Pet him. Just make him sit. Just put him in a sit and pet him. That's it.
We'll find out.
Listen to me.
Brownie's bloodshot eyes are a clear sign he's deteriorating quickly. Bingle is prepared to give the owner's brother a chance to claim him. But right now, his priority is getting Brownie back to the shelter before it's too late. Philadelphia is in the middle of a heat wave. As temperatures rise, the city's pets become vulnerable to the dangers of the hot midday sun. At the Pennsylvania SPCA, officers have arrived back with Brownie. They have just rescued him from a backyard where he was being kept without shade or water. Officer Darlene Souza is concerned Brownie is dehydrated and has brought him to Dr. Ravi Maraka for assessment.
Good job, buddy. Good job.
Brownie is panting heavily, a clear sign that he's overheating.
Temperature is 106. So what I want you to do, I want you to hose him with the cold water.
At 106, over 4 degrees above normal, Brownie's temperature is dangerously high.
I mean, he may have some kind of heat stroke. If the temperatures not come down, then I'm going to start with the cold IV fluids.
Heat stroke is a serious condition that can lead to brain damage and ultimately death. They need to reduce Brownie's body temperature quickly. Souza and trainee agent Juan Martinez shower him down with cold water to try and cool his skin. They can only hope that help hasn't come too late. While they continue to work on him, Maraka heads back inside the shelter. There's more work to do. The 2 pit bulls rescued yesterday need to be evaluated. The dogs, named Buddy and Rocky, were abandoned at a derelict property.
Somebody's stashing them back here. Not anymore.
Officers' suspicions were raised when they found them concealed in a dangerous neighborhood.
Actually, you might want to call the police. All right. Yeah. We're getting back to the shelter and getting the heck out of here before anybody shows up.
With only each other for company, the 2 playmates have become firm friends, and since arriving at the shelter, they've also won the hearts of adoption counselors Jamie Cooper and Victoria Bradley. They're hoping Dr. Maraka will give the 2 dogs a positive health check to allow them to be put up for adoption.
They are not in bad shape, but also at the same time, I don't think they got any veterinary care.
Despite his previous living situations, he's actually a really good dog. He's very friendly, very calm, a little timid at first, but after, a couple minutes, he warms up to you.
I'm glad that we found them in a good condition.
It's good news. The dogs are healthy and happy. So far, no one has called to claim them. If they're still unclaimed in 24 hours, they'll be placed up for adoption. Back in the yard, things are looking better for Brownie. After 20 minutes under a cold shower, he's looking more comfortable. Sosa takes him inside to be checked over by Maraka. Brownie has had a narrow escape, thanks to the quick work of Maraka and the agents.
Hey, Brownie, eat a little bit. Just imagine how calm down he is.
He looks more alert than he was. He's going in the heat shop. It's hot out there.
Just make sure cages are ready so we can bring it.
They know this wasn't a deliberate case of cruelty, but one where ignorance could have so easily ended in tragedy. Brownie will be closely monitored to make sure he's made a full recovery. At the Pennsylvania SPCA, the cat with a large hole in its neck has been brought to the evaluation room for assessment. When he was handed into the shelter 2.5 weeks ago, he was just moments from death. The gaping wound had been caused by an untreated abscess. Today, Humane Law Enforcement Officer Wayne Smith and Dr. Ravi Maraka are checking on its progress.
You wouldn't believe this, but that looked way better than it did when I first seen it. You can actually see deeper into the cat's neck. Actually, now it doesn't look like it's healing pretty good.
What we are doing is we are cleaning the wounds with antiseptic, putting on antibiotic cream, and also systemically we are giving antibiotic to this cat. It healed up nicely, but I think now is the time I have to operate this cat.
While the cat's neck was so severely infected, Morocco was reluctant to sew up the wound. But after several days of treatment, he's happy he can now perform surgery to close the hole and help speed up the cat's recovery.
Cat do have 9 lives, and they shock you sometimes. Right? They shock you sometimes.
They shock me all the time.
It's an incredible success story, and given time, the cat should be as good as new. The Pennsylvania SPCA is a nonprofit organization that relies on public donations to help treat the 10,000 animals it rescues each year. One of its latest arrivals is Brownie. Left in a yard on a hot day with no water or access to shade, Brownie's temperature soared to over 4 degrees above normal. He was suffering with heat stroke. The humane law enforcement team rescued him in the nick of time.
Come on, Brownie.
Today, he's being assessed by behaviorist Nicole Larocco to make sure the heat stroke hasn't left any lasting side effects.
Some common effects that you might see stemming from heat stroke are things like they could have trouble moving and, you know, kind of walk like a drunken sailor, so they might be shaky or wobbly when they move. Or they can, you know, just kind of seem disoriented and out of it, even long after the heat stroke. Brownie seems like he's, you know, pretty good.
He seems to have made a full recovery, but Larocco feels Brownie needs a bit of extra attention.
What we do notice about Brownie is that he's kind of got a low self-esteem. He's kind of nervous, he's kind of unconfident. So when we're doing rehabilitation with Brownie, we're gonna work on confidence-building exercises. Come on, Brown. Agility equipment is great for dog training because it will instill confidence in a dog that's shy or nervous. Come on, Brownie. Good boy. And we want to make sure that it's a really positive experience for Brownie. So we're going to be doing a lot of just kind of praising and petting and reassuring whenever he's doing the right thing. But whenever he's not giving us what we want, we're not going to get upset with him either. So come on.
Brownie's owner had wanted to give him to her brother, but after a week at the shelter, no one had come forward to claim him. But Larocco feels with a bit more confidence, he'll make the perfect pet for adoption.
He is absolutely fabulous with every test that we've done. And he's a really sweet and affectionate dog. He just really likes to, you know, sit beside you and cuddle with you, and you can do anything you want to him. He's gonna be okay with it. So my initial reaction to this dog is that, you know, he's a good egg. I think Brownie's gonna make somebody an absolutely fabulous pet.
When 2 sick animals were brought to the Pennsylvania SPCA, it was just the beginning of a case that led to the rescue of 15 other cats and dogs from filthy conditions inside a hoarder's home. Humane law enforcement officer Wayne Smith led the investigation and cited the animal's owner with 2 counts of animal cruelty. It was a difficult case for Smith, who felt the owner also needed help.
The lady was pretty much going through some problems, but she was found guilty, and the judge did take it easy on the fines. I think it was only like 100. Well, she was cited for 2. She was cited for the cats and cited for the dogs. For all the dogs were removed out of there, all the cats were removed out of there. It's pretty much unsanitary condition, lack of veterinarian care. But I truly believe that taking money from this lady wouldn't really help her. I believe trying to educate her more, or trying to make friends with her so she can like have somebody to talk with besides those animals could help her more. But I just feel bad that she still didn't see the big picture. So.
Months of neglect had left the animals with medical conditions, skin problems, and severely matted coats. But under the care of the SPCA, the cats and dogs' lives have been transformed, and they are now settling into new homes.
They're in good homes, people really loving and caring for them, and I'm really happy. I'm happy with everybody. Everything from all the staff members that allowed this for those animals to find a good home, behaviorists, adoption people, agents, kennel people who took care of those animals until this case was through. And, so yeah, I'm happy about it.
Thanks to the hard work of Smith and the SPCA team, all the animals have been adopted. All except one. The cat with the large hole in his neck has made a full physical recovery, but still has some psychological scars. A lack of socialization has left him shy and skittish.
How's my buddy? I couldn't do this 2 weeks ago. Couldn't even touch him like this 2 weeks ago.
Pennsylvania SPCA staff member Rita Ann Provenzano is giving him some extra attention until he is also ready for a new home.
This is Daddy, and he couldn't get near his cage. He was pretty hostile for a little bit and completely frightened. Ears were always back, always planted firmly all the way back in the back of the cage, swatted at people. So they asked me to just start working with him and desensitize him, and that's what we're doing. So, and he's a little tense, but this morning he really had a major breakthrough when I went in to see him and give him his little breakfast treat. He meowed and did that little chirp and then just came right to the cage. And as soon as I started petting him, he just completely dropped over and exposed his belly and put his paws up, and he started purring. So I think we're making good progress. It's amazing to see cats who come in either neglect or cruelty or abuse cases. They always have the same body language. They usually always have the same body language initially, just frightened in general. And once an animal realizes that somebody is rooting for them in their corner, they completely change. I think that they feel like they're worth it, and there's a reason to fight or to come around and to be who they're supposed to be. I guess when you don't know anything but cruelty or lack of human touch and tenderness and everything, I guess it's a little hard to trust initially, but then once they figure out you're there for them and you're there to help and you're sending good energy, I think they realize it, and then they usually start to come around. I think it'll only be a little while longer before he's ready to accept a human as a family member. So I think he'll get there. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. He will. He will.
It's 12 weeks since officers rescued playmates Buddy and Rocky from an abandoned property. No one came forward to claim them, so the dogs were placed up for adoption. Today, Buddy is taking a walk with his new family, the Bozards. They have renamed him Ozzy and are delighted with the latest addition to their household.
I think we definitely made a good pick. He's really good with the kids. He will be sleeping on the floor. The kids can get off the couch and step on him, and he doesn't even budge. I mean, and he's really good with other dogs. He has no, other dog aggression whatsoever. He likes to play, and he's good with us. We're still getting through the puppy stage, the shoeing and stuff like that, but that's with any puppy you get, so I think we made the right decision. Say, Ozzy. Call Ozzy. Ozzy.
The family have a surprise in store for Ozzy. It's Rocky, now named Tiger. He's also been adopted, and his new owner, Jeanette Biotto, is in on the surprise.
Today is the first day that we're going to meet Ozzy, and I'm just excited. I think Tiger's excited too, because he's trying to get into the dog park here. So hopefully it'll be a great reunion.
Ozzy and Tiger are about to be reunited for the first time since leaving the shelter.
Tiger.
Ozzy, look. Ozzy.
Look, you guys, let's see if Tiger know who Ozzy is.
Hi. Say hi.
Hi.
Oh, look, guys, it's your friend.
Oh, this is Tiger.
Hi, Tiger.
So they were best buddies, I heard.
Yeah.
Having been through thick and thin together, The two dogs have formed a strong bond, and after a quick hello, they are playing as if they have never been apart.
It's adorable. I mean, they're just beautiful dogs, and I'm glad that they're in great families. It seems like, and they seem to react. They just know each other. As soon as they see each other, they just start playing, and oh, it's just a great thing to see. I'm excited.
They seem to have the same personality. They just both are very energetic, very playful. They seem to love kids, love other dogs. They're great.
And we love them like they're part of our family. So, yeah, I think it's a great thing.
Thanks to the Pennsylvania SPCA, it's another happy ending. Ozzie and Tiger can return to their new homes, knowing that their best friend isn't too far away.